next talk, I'm going to welcome Paul Grant to the stage, but while he's coming up here, I just wanted to announce the winners of the demo track. So in third place was Perceptive Medical with the BarrelHawk blood pressure management system. Congratulations. In second place was Leg Trek with Lumi. Congratulations to you. And imagine a drum roll, please. First place went to Avenda Health with their office-based AI prostate cancer therapy. So congratulations to the winners. And now I will turn the stage over to Paul Grant, CEO of Medtech Innovator. Take it away, Paul.
Hey, thank you very much, Dina. Great to be here for day 2 of our event together. As you said, turning it up to 11. I think that's what we're all doing here. Really excited. So I'm Paul Grant. I'm the CEO here of Medtech Innovator. Let me share my screen so I can tell you very quickly what we're talking about here today. So Medtech Innovator, maybe I'm sharing the wrong screen. Let's see. Am I sharing the right screen or the wrong screen? Anyone? Just want to make sure.
You're good.
I'm good. You can see my full screen and not
yes.
my okay, just checking. Thank you. Always have to check that with 2 screens. All right, so Medtech Innovator is a very, very interesting company for those of you who don't know us or aren't familiar with us. We're a nonprofit that I started back in 2013 while I was a venture capitalist working in medtech. The idea was to find great companies and make sure they don't make mistakes on their way to the market. That's one of the things I think as a venture capitalist that was the most frustrating thing for me was finding a terrific technology who just because they didn't have the right ecosystem support were making mistakes. And we'd say, boy, I wish I met that company earlier. We could have helped them. That's Medtech Innovator. So we bring together the world's best startups with the world's leading ecosystem of support. If you look down on the slide, at the bottom of the slide, wherever that is off to the side, I guess that way maybe. If you look at the bottom of the slide, you'll see some of the partners in Medtech Innovator. We have 20 corporate partners, and literally we're working with, again, the leading companies in our industry, companies like J&J and W.L. Gore and Baxter and Dexcom and so on. These are the companies that bring products to the market for the most part in our business. And as you see here on the stage, what you're looking at are some of the graduates of Medtech Innovators Accelerator from a couple of years ago. Most importantly, behind them are the products that our alumni have brought to the market. At this point, we have 77 products on the market from Medtech Innovators alumni, 340 companies strong. And what's really amazing about that is you have a peer group of companies that are all high performing, that are doing very well. Up in the corner of the slide, there are 2 ways you can see to connect with us: Twitter at MedTech Awards, and if you're really cool, you can connect with us on Clubhouse. Look up the MedTech Innovator Club. Like everybody, those are brand new clubs. But look us up. If you follow me, or if you put in your phone number and follow me, I'll try to get you an invite onto Clubhouse. You can join our club. Now, importantly, Medtech Innovator has scale. So as I mentioned before, 340 companies. That makes us the largest accelerator of medical devices in the entire world. This is according to Cipher Bio, which is Silicon Valley's report, looking at the accelerators across the industry. What we do for companies is we provide them with really 5 important things. Number 1, an educational curriculum. 2, mentorship, corporate mentorship. So we have mentors from all across the ecosystem, hundreds of them, but most importantly, it's the strategics who are going to bring these products to market that directly mentor our companies. Resources and funding. Not only do we give away $1 million a year now between all of our programs, but also we have access to 400 to 500 investors who invest in these companies. We provide a community for people to actually connect with their peers, and we provide recognition and visibility at some of the largest conferences in the world. We don't take any equity for doing this. There's no participation fees, totally agnostic to geography. We're just trying to find the best companies in the world and make sure they're successful. You also see some logos at the bottom of the slide here. These are companies that are also partners in Medtech Innovator that are service providers. So these are people who also are part of the mentoring. These are people who help bring these products to market. They're the best in class. That's why we choose them. Now, what we do at Medtech Innovator is we start with applications. So people apply to be in Medtech Innovator. We had between our 3 different programs that we're operating over 1,700 applications this year. And then we go through all those applications with hundreds and hundreds of reviewers from our partners and other organizations. And then we invite companies to pitch us. Now, as Dina mentioned before, yesterday we had a pitch event. So each of these are thematic this year. They're not regional per se. So yesterday was the cardiology, cardiovascular, and robotics pitch event. And you see here on the screen some of the companies that were presenting, but mainly what you're looking at are the faces of judges that were here. We had 100 judges at our pitch event yesterday. Pretty amazing. The road tour doesn't end with the event we had yesterday. We're just getting started. We have events coming up over the next several months. You can see some of the dates coming up on the road tour over here. Now, very importantly, if you look at the list of companies you see on the screen over here, we had a number of companies that were presenting yesterday. We had 15 companies that we selected out of all of those applications that I mentioned earlier that were specifically in the cardiovascular space. If these companies were selected, it's because our strategic partners, the companies that I mentioned earlier, the Edwards Life Sciences of the world, those companies selected these companies to present. Then, after we spent the day with about 100 judges talking to these companies, we all deliberated and we discussed them. And two of our favorites we selected to present for you now. So we're going to have two very short presentations, 5 minutes each. So presenters, watch your time, put your phone down on your table, set a clock for 5 minutes. We can't go long, otherwise we're going to cut into Dr. Murray Sheldon's time, which we cannot do. So let's have our first presenter come up. I'm going to stop my slides and invite Joe Muldoon to come up from Fast Biomedical. He's going to give us a 5-minute presentation. That'll be followed by Kastuba from Hemotag. So let's start off with Joe Muldoon. I will stop my sharing and we'll have our first presentation. So Joe Muldoon, are you here and ready to give your presentation?
Paul, I am waiting for my video to be started.
All right.
The administrator turned it off.
All right. Maybe you can, administrator, can you turn on our presenter? There we go, Joe. Nice to see you again. All right.
Hi, Paul.
So give us the 5-minute pitch. I want to hear the story.
Thank you. Hello from Indianapolis. I will share my screen if you can see that.
We can, if you want to just go full screen with that. I'm going to turn off my video. All right, 5 minutes.
Hello, everyone. I will take the next 5 minutes to tell you how we're attempting to transform heart failure therapy at Fast Biomedical. The economic and human burden of heart failure is enormous and rising. It's forecast to be $35 billion by the year 2030, and that's for hospitalization costs, admission costs alone. 90% of those admissions are due to fluid overload, yet ironically, there is no currently viable way to measure fluid or volume levels. When we talk to clinicians here, they say we're making treatment decisions in the dark. The frontline therapy for this condition is diuresis, and our precision measurements can, for the first time, titrate these therapies during the decongestion stage. The current standard of care for volume assessment is inadequate. It's kind of a hodgepodge of things, and it varies slightly from hospital to hospital and physician to physician, but it usually includes physical exam, looking for edema, tracking urine output, looking at bed weight, changes in hematocrit, might throw in a chest x-ray, a hemodynamic monitor, but both individually and collectively, the limitations are these are known poor surrogates of volume and heart failure. They have high variability from physician to physician and day to day, and don't give them the ability to serially track volume. Our technology is an injectable that works in concert with a device. We give the patient a small bolus injection of a fluorescent marker, 3 milliliters in solution. It distributes. We take a small blood sample at 15 minutes, put it in our analyzer. We have the results back to the clinician on volume level in 45 minutes. We also have the ability to measure kidney function with that same fluorescent marker. If they want a kidney function measurement, they take 2 more samples. We've completed 4 clinical trials to date. We've conducted our trials in Germany and the US, from healthy volunteers all the way to acute complicated heart failure patients. And our marker's been well tolerated, no SAEs, and we've hit all of our endpoints in all of our trials. What we've shown on volume is that it's highly accurate. And one of the ways we did this is we took a variety of different patients at different volume levels, measured them before and after a fluid challenge, and the difference was almost precisely that fluid challenge. We've shown high reproducibility day over day. And on the kidney function side, we've shown a 0.9992 correlation to the research gold standard of iohexol clearance over all levels of function. This is also an indicator of the accuracy of volume because volume is an input into the calculation of kidney function. Our most recent trial was in acute decompensated heart failure patients. It was an observational trial that we did at the Charité Hospital Network in Berlin, some of the leaders in the world in heart failure. And what we showed is that clinical assessment of volume is wrong 58% of the time. And when we say wrong, we mean plus or minus 10% off a clinically significant amount. And that when clinicians were given accurate measurements, they changed the treatment decision 80% of the time. We think this gives a signal that it has the potential to reduce mortality, reduce hospital-acquired and post-discharge adverse events, and reduce readmit rates in this population. We've used this information to assemble a world-class heart failure medical advisory board, extremely well published, and the speakers on the podiums at the major heart failure conferences. Some of what they're saying, both our MAB and other KOLs, is dramatic. As we get podium presentations, they're like, finally, somebody can measure volume. It's all about volume. What we need to know are the volume measurements in these patients. Our IP portfolio is strong. We have 59 patents with a broad geographic coverage and a clean freedom to operate report. And an experienced management team that's done this before, from founding, funding, commercializing, and exiting. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've been doing this for 30 years. Steve's been designing trials in heart failure for big pharma for 20 years. Trey's been getting products approved for 2 decades, and Dan has been building devices that are as similar to this as we could find for 4 decades. We've surrounded ourselves with deep domain expertise on other advisors. Our most recent acquisition to our board of directors is Jim Dillon, former St. Jude Medical. Our next steps to pursue a harmonized US and EU approval trial. 4 sites, about 200 patients. At the same time, we take the next step in heart failure, really demonstrating that the clinical utility shows this is a must-have for these patients. The market, just in acute decompensated heart failure, is enormous, $6 billion total addressable market. And to get there, we're out in the market right now raising a $32 million Series B. We believe that will accomplish getting to cash flow neutral in about 3.5 years. Thanks for the opportunity to speak with you.
Terrific. Great job, Joe. You can see why we selected you as one of the favorites. Terrific job. All right, Joe. So for anyone who wants to connect with Joe, you could do so hopefully on his website. You could find him, or here you can use the partnering perhaps to find him during the event. All right. So thanks, Joe. I'm going to bring up our next favorite from yesterday. So we have Kaustubh from Hemotag. If you want to go ahead and start your video. And
there you go.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul.
Good to see
you.
you.
Thank UCLA. All right, let's start. Hi, my name is Kaustubh Khale, the founder and CEO. I was the chief architect of Motorola Iden's initiative in mobile healthcare. Hemotag, with its award-winning, easy-to-use and reusable wireless design, enables accurate, in-depth heart failure assessment tests that is reimbursable. And the digital health solution offers actionable and cost-conscious healthcare delivery for acute and chronic illnesses at clinics, hospitals, home, and virtual care. So primary diseases such as hypertension, diabetes, lung and heart disease can lead to raised intracardiac pressures, cardiac structural and functional abnormalities. The resulting heart failure is a deadly disease and eventual death if not treated early. But the problem is the clinical presentations are cough and fatigue, which are non-specific and often get misdiagnosed, as accurate diagnosis requires advanced imaging and procedures. A recent urgent care report revealed over 50% of patients received antibiotics that were neither recommended nor effective. 2% of patients are diverted to the ER for higher care, and thousands more walk into the ER directly. Our clinical partners have told us this is resulting in unnecessary hospitalizations and thousands of dollars of avoidable acute care costs. So Hemotag was designed to solve this problem by offering diagnostic markers non-inferior to gold standard invasive assessments, enabling rapid cardiac triage needed for the 22 million Americans with symptoms today, with 500,000 new patients getting added annually. The opening and closing of the heart valves provide a breakthrough innovation by providing markers for intracardiac pressures and systolic and diastolic function. The Hemotag device, which was invented for the Department of Defense, detects micro vibrations from the valves of these heart to provide these absolute markers of severity and type of disease. In one example shown here, an enlarged heart or systolic dysfunction or heart failure with reduced ejection fraction can be very easily diagnosed by looking at how the aortic time reduces. So our test is very easy to deploy in a clinical setting without affecting the clinical workflow. Place the device on the chest using standard ECG electrodes for 30 seconds. A simple button app sends it securely to our cloud server. The electronic patient reports are generated within minutes and available to the care team. So the Hemotag is designed to help with in-depth cardiac triage without expensive imaging tests, long lead time blood tests, or hospital admissions. And the test is reimbursable in the hospital outpatient clinics. Our users have indicated we are better than current and emerging technologies as the system is simple to use by anyone, allowing patients to be tested very easily. Hemotag can thus help reduce hospitalizations, readmissions, and overall lower the cost of care. We have extensively validated Hemotag time intervals to be 1% to those of the gold markers. Our usability study with 15 physicians, 15 patients, unanimously show that the Hemotag was very fast to diagnose and easy to use. Our clinical studies have further demonstrated Hemotag provides valid markers for intracardiac pressures, systolic function, diastolic function, compared simultaneously at the time of heart catheterization and a full 2D echo. In a recent study, Hemotag also assessed the progression and response to treatment in patients hospitalized for heart failure. The applicability of this study demonstrated that Hemotag can help tailor heart failure therapies and improve clinically relevant outcomes, such as readmissions and hospitalizations. So ECGs and X-rays are very easy to administer, but they are not able to detect the specific heart failure. You need an echocardiogram or a cath, but these are time-consuming, expensive, and require skilled personnel. So Hemotag makes it a clear choice as it provides absolute and accurate markers and it's quick and easy to administer. Our FDA clearance is expected in 2021. We have issued patents, international patents, the formal freedom to operate. We have very strong clinical validations and enthusiasm from our early users. Plus, we've been recently granted $6.4 million from the NIH to further this device to bring heart failure management to home and also to manage patients with diabetes. We are a very local company with deep roots in South Florida here, but recognitions have been national and international. And we have strong backing by the National Institutes of Health and the Department of Defense. Our team comprises of individuals with very strong backgrounds in product development, machine learning, medical device marketing, regulatory quality, and clinical affairs. An outstanding team of renowned heart failure cardiologists. Focused go-to-market strategy of engaging pilot sites for Hemotag integration. We're expecting a $3 million to get us market entry, generating $15 million in revenue. The NIH awards will result in new indications that will further fuel our growth. The heart failure diagnostic market is ripe for penetration given the huge need. We forecast crossing $500 million in revenue, and Hemotag also has very strong opportunities for M&A, as large companies and pharmaceutical companies are looking for acquisitions to scale. In conclusion, it has never been a better time for Hemotag. We're an experienced team with an exciting point-of-care diagnostic technology with significant funding and support from the National Institutes of Health. We are seeking investment and strategic partners. We would love to talk to you. Please reach out to me for a deeper dive. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm so glad we got to hear those pitches. Thank you, Paul.